horrible. It's just a day that I cannot never forget.
April 30th, 1975, the date that changed the fate for millions of people caught in the crossfire of the Vietnam War. What would later be known as the Fall of Saigon marked the defeat of South Vietnam's government to the Viet Cong and the beginning of a communist regime. Hoang Nguyen, who was an officer for the South Vietnamese Army, recalls the moment he made the life-or-death decision to flee the country, leaving everything he knew and loved behind.
Everybody fears of dying because the communist will kill anybody they capture.
Not everyone who attempted the harrowing escape lived to tell their story. Experts estimate thousands of people died at sea, victim to pirates or overcrowding on makeshift boats. Those who survived were lucky enough to make it to refugee camps in surrounding countries and eventually resettled throughout the world, including the U.S. Dr. Roy Vu, a Houston native who teaches history at Dallas College, says the assimilation process for these refugees came with its own set of challenges.
Being part of the exodus is traumatic itself. So you have the trauma, so again, of war, refuge, resettlement, and racialization, right?
But despite their adversities, Houston's Vietnamese community began to flourish in the 1980s and eventually grew into the metropolitan with the country's second largest population.
The Houston area is proudly home to many Asian communities. In fact, we boast the second largest Vietnamese population in the country.
So on this last day of Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Month, ABC 13's lead reporter on race and culture issues, Rosie Nguyen, is taking us through the history of our Vietnamese community right here at home in Houston.
Maida and Chauncey, according to the Migration Policy Institute, approximately 800,000 Vietnamese refugees made their way to this country between 1975 and 2013. Earlier at 4 p.m., we took you through their history and harrowing journey after the Vietnam War. Now, we're taking a look at the challenges they overcame here in the U.S. and their contributions to our area.
A lot of them were fishermen and fisherwomen, right, back in Vietnam. And so they wanted to live along the coastline.
Dr. Roy Vu, a Houston native who teaches history at Dallas College, explains what partly made southern Texas appealing to the Vietnamese is its similar climate to their native country and proximity to the ocean. But their newfound success in the fishing and shrimping industry developed conflict with native white fishermen, even leading to a clash at one point with the Ku Klux Klan.
They started, brandishing weapons and making death threats and, of course, burning crosses.
For other refugees, many picked up jobs in professions unfamiliar to them, desperate to do whatever it took to keep their family afloat. It's a struggle Hoang Nguyen knows all too well, remembering how he had to rebuild his life in Houston at age 23 with his wife and children.
So me and my wife, we have to work 10 hours a day, 365 days a year to make ends meet, to go to, I still have to go to school and learn English.
He remembers the early years of resettlement when you couldn't find Vietnamese food or supplies anywhere. But that changed rather quickly. Over the years, enclaves of Vietnamese businesses have migrated from downtown to Midtown and now to the A-Leaf area. If you take a drive down Bel Air Boulevard west of Beltway 8 now, you'll find Little Saigon, a thriving and bustling district of Vietnamese businesses.
These spaces provide comfort, solace, peace, and a reconnection with their homeland of South Vietnam.
Dr. Vu says the Vietnamese presence in Houston will only continue to grow. Nguyen says he plans to stay in this area for the rest of his life, the city that became his home away from home.
I travel a lot around the world and around these United States. And finally I thought Houston is the best place to live. To me, the best place to live.
I'm Rosie Nguyen reporting for ABC 13 Eyewitness News.